we're back. And look who's
Dun,
here.
dun, dun. Special guest.
Who's here?
Just drove in.
Just literally drove
Literally.
in. Literally
Yeah.
drove in. If you don't know, this is Sheryl Hickerson with Females in Finance, which we'll hit upon more in detail later. But now we're going to get into a little Q&A and kind of meld that into our team's money mindset conversation as well. So I'm actually going to ask everyone. This is off script because I don't follow script ever. When you've dealt with clients, you have a whole plethora of different types of clients. We have more direct clients in terms of wealth. What is the most common question that happens to you that you have to answer?
Common.
Frequent?
So I'm going to say mine first.
Go right ahead.
You go.
Hey, I drove in.
Guest-
I came
Yes.
right here for this
Guest
question.
starts.
So once upon a time, I worked in risk management for a very, very long time. So insurance, the dark side, I know. But I really believe that the question that we are ultimately having to answer all the time is, am I going to be okay? When clients come in, that's our only job. Am I going to be okay? Somebody has a spouse that passes. Am I going to be okay? The business fails. Am I going to be okay? The business is growing. Am I still going to be okay? And I think that if we're not answering that question day in, day out, missed opportunity. And it actually allows you to expand your arsenal of services whenever you're looking at all the clients you have and asking that question and what they're coming back with. So that's my favorite one that they ask.
I like it.
I honestly think that was going to be pretty darn close to exactly what I was going to say, especially when you're having, but especially when you're having,
answers.
you're doing a budget for somebody, you're doing a debt analysis for somebody, which is some of those first meetings. You know, what's your thoughts? Am I good? Will I be good? That's what is running through people's mind. I think the other one that always we have to answer maybe would be my second one is, how much does this cost?
You mean our services or just in general?
In general, but like, how much does this cost? And you have to acknowledge that elephant in the room right up front and be transparent with people.
Yeah. I think the other question going on with that similar is, can I do this? So maybe they're looking to buy a house, maybe baby's coming, maybe a gift, maybe a new car, those kinds of things. Can I do this now? Later? When?
Ever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine is, do we even have enough to work with you? We don't have anything. We're worth nothing, right? That repeated thing of, are we even able to work with someone like you? And I think that one hits me twofold. One, because I've came from that before where we have literally nothing, like negative, and you just feel like you're shit in your mindset. You are shit. So why would someone to this caliber want to help me, right? That's one part of it. And then the other part is everyone thinks like to work with in our industry that you have to have millions of dollars. You don't. Actually, we prefer you not, because building that up, that's better. That's going to, we'll get into money mindset, but that's building a mindset as opposed to someone who already probably has a few million. They're going to hire us and try to just get the best performance out of us and focus on that only. They're only going to care about the return on that. And I think that's important. But to the first one is, no, you're worth it. We are here to help everyone who wants help. If you don't want help, actually don't call us, because that's just a waste of everyone's time. If you want help and you want to be successful, then you kind of just got to open up and trust it and trust the whole process or journey that you come along with us. So that one's probably the one that I get the most, that is the most meaningful.
Which is it's hard for them to open up and be vulnerable and tell us or share their story about where they are. And I think we see all kinds of different places where people are, and we want to make a safe environment where they feel comfortable that they can share what they want to do. But it's like, get help, collaborate, reach out. It'll help you in the end.
Yeah. And I think with, sports, coaching, background, different stuff, and you can attest to this as well, building from the ground up is, on our side, a lot of times the most rewarding. If somebody comes in and they just want to test us, it almost is, it's almost a little bit of a slap to the face. Like, I don't know if you guys are good enough for me yet. And when somebody wants to just be built from the ground up and is ready to do the right things and make the changes in their life and is really willing to be educated and learn with you along the way, that's when that's just music to our ears.
Absolutely. Anyone else have any questions while I'm pulling up the questions?
No, I wanted to expand on that a little bit because I really like that idea of thinking about everyday people being able to come in and get financial guidance. I think that is so misunderstood, not available, whatever. I mean, because people are going to believe what they want to believe, right? I mean, the perception is that estate planning is only for the wealthy, and everyone, if you own you have an estate, it needs to be planned for. And so I sit there and think, wow, what a different world we would be in, going back to your point, because we didn't have a lot either growing up. My mother passed very early on, and my dad we were already a dual income family in the early 70s. And it was interesting because my dad built everything from that, and he just passed away in January. But I do think that it's one of those things where I wish I had known that there was financial guidance available when I had nothing to kind of get you there. And that when it finally did open up for me, it was a CFP. It was, can I give a shout out to
Absolutely.
Sally Ing. Sally Ing. Sally Ing. She's a CFP up in Northern California. She saw me struggling one night trying to get our bills together, and this was when my children were really, really little, and she said, "Can I sit with you and help you?" And I thought, "You want to help me? You have like really wealthy people." She says, "Of course I do. Everybody deserves to have financial freedom, And I was like, okay, so I brought all my bills in, and it was really a vulnerable process of, oh my gosh, she's going to see everything I have. And she's like, stop, no. And it was out of debt, getting into investments, maxing out my 401k. I mean, it was everything. She had me flipped the other way.
Around,
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I really, really believe in the idea of financial planning.
Absolutely. I got a toss-up. This one, or toss-up. Yeah, maybe that's it. This one's very easy because it's kind of somewhat in your house, just kind of sliver of it. Can businesses effectively and impactfully market via social media only with a limited budget?
Yes.
Tell us more. Tell us more.
It's so funny. I'm going to actually be speaking on this topic at Jolt at Snappy Kraken. And the idea behind it is that we can use social media, but you have to use it in a way that's really relatable to the individuals that are seeing it. It doesn't do any good. So I think a lot of times what happens is, I'm going to pick on Twitter because it's the easiest. People think they have to be a certain way on Twitter, and you just have to be you through Twitter so that people get an idea of who you are. And I see sometimes people want to, it's like sometimes I post business stuff, and then sometimes I post, 80s memes, or sometimes I post, pictures of my grandkids. But then you get a full flavor of who I am, and it makes it just better. And it's actually really helpful with business because then all of a sudden somebody's like, oh, well, what is it that you do? Tell me about your business. And they will DM you through Twitter all the time. I've actually picked up quite a bit of new membership. We started a Twitter community for females in finance on there too. 2 days, we had 146 members. 2 days. So, I mean, it was just people coming to learn more about what it is that we do. And I think that if you find what you like to do, don't be on places that you hate.
Right.
If you hate Pinterest, throw it away. Who cares? If you hate Instagram, don't use it. The only one I'm going to tell you that you can't is LinkedIn, because you're getting way, way, way too much free SEO from Google, because Google and LinkedIn are friends. You got to be on LinkedIn. Outside of that, pick and choose what you want.
Absolutely. So that was an easy one.
Yeah, absolutely. I
I
mean,
had to toss that.
I think what go ahead.
Just like you said, like without the budget portion and the cost, you can do this on your own. And it's probably the best way to start because your reach is everywhere. Your reach isn't just when you're talking to somebody, you're going to a networking event and really you might only hit those 50, 25 people that are in the room. Your reach is everywhere. Somebody on Twitter, you say finance in there. Somebody searches finance maybe in their search bar on Twitter. Your tweet could probably pop up at some point. Different stuff like that, where I just think the value is unlimited almost in those marketing ways.
You just said something, though, that most people take for granted. So when your followers or your fans, or however that people want to define that, I get a lot of times people come to me for marketing and they'll say, well, as soon as I hear the word only, my ears, I lean in. I only have 115 followers. I only have, stop. Would you say I only lost 115 pounds? No, I lost 150. You don't need to use that as the qualifier. If you know all 115 of those people, you have 100% engagement. That is fantastic.
Oh, yeah,
and I actually took one time as a lesson, and I took something like from like the Ellen Show, McDonald's, and a financial advisor. He actually had more interaction, more engagement than when you actually take the millions of likes and stuff like that, and the people are actually engaging with it versus that content there, because he knew every single person. I was proving that we don't need to use the word only as a qualifier for that. So I love the fact that you just said, if that's where your people are and you're talking and they're talking back to you, great job.
Right. And 100 people, those could be your clients. I mean, that's a good amount of people. I think where people also get stuck in social media is the overwhelm. There's the limited budget, but where should I be? Which is what you were saying. Should I be on everything? Can I post on everything? And it just becomes this mindset of, and then they don't do it.
Yeah.
Because it's just way too much. I don't even know what is popular now.
Yeah.
What's most popular right now?
Overwhelming and not
Something
being able
new's coming
to
up.
keep, like you said, not being able to keep up. If I'm super passionate about Twitter, if I'm super passionate about TikTok, which is booming right now, or Instagram, but I'm not passionate about something else, my minuscule presence there probably, if I'm not consistent, it's consistency a lot of the times. If I'm not consistent there, it's probably doing me nothing over there unless I'm...
It's doing you mental harm because your brain is over there going,
yeah.
I should be over there. No, you shouldn't. Go in. Now, I
don't
will
wanna be
tell
there,
you
don't-
this. Every single person who's watching this, if you've not gone out and squatted your name on every account out there, so Black Mammoth should be on every single thing that's offered out there, even if you never intend to use it. I tell the story because it's relevant. I discovered that there was a very large insurance company who shall remain nameless that never squatted their name on Pinterest. And there was a little woman in Georgia who had like 117 followers on Pinterest who had their name. And I called up because I knew the social media team there, and I'm like, they had to get their legal team involved. It became very sticky and expensive.
Probably paid her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then paid to get it filed.
Yeah. So you want to just go out on every single thing, whether it's TikTok. Oh, I'm never going to use TikTok. Don't care. Squat your name. Twitter. I'm never going to use it. Don't care. Squat your name. Go out and find your name on every single one of those platforms and hold on to them so they're yours in case your audience does change. In case compliance does change and allows you to do more TikTok or whatever. Because those things we saw during the year that shall remain nameless, a lot of compliance changed for a lot of advisors because then they were like, just
do it.
Just go. We'll do post review, not pre review. And so I think that's really important.
I had something, but then when you said compliance, I just started laughing. So, yeah, I don't remember at this point. Oh, no, I was going to say is also for a website. If you're thinking of a name, get a website. I mean, when just our own website, we spent, I think, $6,000 on all the websites, right? Because there's blackmammoth.com and .org, and we've got .net, and then we've got ColleCap. I mean, we've got all of these other names, and there's people out there who legitimately just type in random names and buy those websites to do this exact same thing. So if you have a business and maybe you don't have a website yet, you might want to go get your website because it might be more expensive. It might cause you to change your business name.
I own 48 domains today.
I know we're at 37, I think.
48. Yeah, I own 48. So it's no joke. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's like, and I'll tell you my own story because I feel like point the finger at myself, a fail. So when I started Females in Finance, I bought .com.net. I never bought .org. And I'm going about my way, and then my attorney calls me one day because she was doing a check because we were doing our trademarking, and she says, Melina says, who's .org? And I'm like, huh? What are you talking about? And she's like, yeah. And it's some company in Ghana.
Right.
I mean, I'm like, in it. So now I have to, constantly be watching to see if they decide to give it up so I can buy it. Yeah, or whatever. And they're doing some stuff down there, which is great because it's more of a nonprofit feel of what they're doing. But that was a huge mistake on my part. And I today live it every day, but that's why I'm so big on squatting your names. Your own person, and every advisor should have their own .com of their own name. For speaking, for writing, for anything like that, they should have that too.
I think I'd probably struggle to find ryanhall.com.org, anything like that. It's
I wouldn't.
I know
My first name's pretty unique. I don't think someone's still that. Unless they did
I
it
have
because,
a very basic name.
yeah.
You never know. It could be out there.
So there is actually a runner named Ryan Hall.
Yes, there is. I saw.
Olympian, everything like that. So
So,
it's good. Like you type in Ryan Hall Black Mammoth probably isn't the first thing that pops up. It's this Olympian, all this stuff. So ryanhall.com. I'd have to get creative
Olympians.
around a username.
Those
and stuff
damn
like that.
Olympians.
Those Olympians.
You're telling my last name was Brown. I really don't want to hear about it, Mr. Hall. My maiden name was Brown. I would cry. Sheryl Brown on Twitter. Please call me. I'd like to have my name back. And that's one of the reasons why I changed my name when I got married, because everybody had known me as Sheryl Brown. And I thought nobody knows Sheryl Hickerson. I could do that. So I changed my name. Yeah, somebody has Sheryl Hickerson on Twitter. So it's just part of the game that you play. But I do think that you could even change it up and be like, RyanHallAdvisor.com.
Oh, yeah.
Or Ryan Hall,
Yeah.
something like that. Just something so that
just gotta
people
go through
can.
the-
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got.
Rhino Consulting.
There you
it is,
go.
absolutely.
Yeah.
No,
It's
no,
not
no.
there anymore. It's gone. I bought it.
Absolutely. It's
The
it's there.
RyanHall.com.
A
The-
R dash like all of them.
Yep. Yeah.
At sign for
That's
Ryan.
yeah.
That's what somebody asked me too. Like, why do I own so many domains? It's like because I have like the hyphenated.
I have all
I have
the
all of
things
them.
I can think
That's
of.
it.
Yeah. Or then I get to the point where I'm like, I just don't care. Like if you have to go this far, we're good. We're good. All right. Well, let's get off a little Q&A. We'll add more if people have more questions later, but let's get into money mindset. A little serious topic. Money mindset and the importance of where your mind is when it comes to money. And it's similar but different for all of us. I do know that based upon this conversation before. For me, it's more psychology based. It's more the concept behind how your relationship with money is and how it affects everything else in your life. And that's vitally important, I believe. So going to buy that Starbucks, you want to sponsor? Okay. Probably not. Okay. Is when you bought that coffee, how did it make you feel internally? Right. At this point, you're probably like, I just need a damn coffee. Like, get me the damn coffee. I needed it. Whereas 5-10 years ago, that cost enough where you had to, in your mind, be like, okay, I have to give up this, or I can't eat this, or I can't do that. And everyone should live life of, I can buy that. Cool, I can go get a Starbucks. It does not even register as a mental thing for you. That's where we need to get people to, but I don't know percentages because I don't poll the whole world or the United States, but I bet it's a fairly high percentage, 80s, 90s, of how everyone else feels when they make a purchase. They're giving something up, whether it's time with their family, food, water, something. They're giving something up to make this purchase. And that just erodes away at your mentality, and you now start to loathe money, right? Truly loathe it because it controls you in every sense of the imagination. You wake up, you think about it. You go to sleep, you think about it. You hang out with your kids, you think about it. Everything you do is only thinking about money, when the truly wealthy people, and I don't mean dollars or zeros, the truly wealthy people are the ones that can live life and doesn't even register unless it's a big purchase. And then they talk to their planner and we say, yeah, no, or yes, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because that's what they've gotten to. And for me, that's money mindset. If you can live your life and not have to have that anxiety about anything in life because of that, that's when you are truly wealthy. And it has nothing to do with dollars.
I love kind of how you explain that and how the nerd in me, we both have an economics background, and what you're explaining is just opportunity cost. And for me, cost is kind of a gross word because in that sense, when you're saying, what do I have to give up to get something? It makes you feel like a cost. Okay, I have to give something up. A cost is money out of my pocket. It's a negative feeling. And I think being able to help mold somebody. I love what Nora said earlier. It's okay to make money. Yeah. And a lot of times it's okay to spend money too. It's okay to do these things. And just holding yourself back and, like we talked about, trimming the fat, holding yourself in this bubble and just waiting to pop is stressful. It's brutal on yourself, on your relationships around you, different things like that. So with my money mindset, a lot of the psychological stuff, I like to think of it a little bit bigger picture is not only how is it affecting me and how I feel, how is it, around me? How am I to my family? After this affects me, because I know that I'm going to take this same feeling, and at some point it's probably just lingering there. So when I go home to my wife and my daughter, am I still thinking about that purchase? Am I okay with that purchase yet by the time I go there? And I like to think of myself as I can adapt and I'm good along the way and I can roll with the punches, but I'm no different than anybody else. I'm no different. I'm a human being. Some of those purchases, as I'm growing, I'm lessening that on myself, but it's still there. It still lingers. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. And my money mindset isn't set. It's not a set thing. It's constantly adapting. It's resilience. It's determination. It's being able to make changes along the way.
It's a journey, if you will.
Yeah.
Huh? We'll plug back to, okay.
It's a journey.
It's a journey. Yeah,
It's definitely a journey.
Self-plug, it's fine.
Yeah, I've felt very similar things. I think I do have a psychology background, and the feeling of not having money is hard. The feeling of having money is like great, but does that make you happy too? So money's meant to be in motion. I mean, think about the words abundance, those things, money's flowing to me, those kinds of things. And it's meant to be in motion. I think for me, the journey has been different parts of my life. So I had a major health challenge. I had to leave workforce for a year, meaning no money coming in like before. So then you kind of get that constricted feeling, the scared feeling, am I going to be okay? Going back to that same question. And then other things happen where actually things are chiming, or everything's on all cylinders, money's coming in, different source of income, you feel really good. So those different moments, those ebbs and flows, definitely impact me and probably other people. And I think my goal has been to try to be more consistent, even in those moments where it's down. I still need to stay up above that and believe that it's coming in, or I make changes, like intentional changes that will help mindset and also bring in more money.
I think along those lines, though, we're not saying that it's bad to feel those purchases or anything. You're human. You're going to feel those things. You're not wrong for feeling that way. So just because we're trying to get it to a point where we feel financially free and different stuff, just because you're in a way right now where sometimes you feel those purchases a little bit more than others, it happens to everybody. It's not just you that it happens to. Even the ultra wealthy, and coming back and saying, I don't know that I want to spend this much money on this. Whereas other things, they just might value a little bit more. And kind of John talked about it. What's the value there? What is the value to me? And that was his money mindset.
I think one of the things that's a little different for men and women. I can tell you in my lifetime, my mother, I have lived in a time period where my mom couldn't have a checking account without having her husband be on it with her. She could not take money out of, even though she was working and putting money into the account, she could not actually take money out of the account without my dad's permission. And to think I lived in a time during that is insane. But it's reality for a lot of women that are out there. And so they grow up with this mindset. And I think that, to your point, the psychology part, if we're not going back and revisiting, why am I like that? Because I've said this before. I've talked on another podcast about this, but my very big purchase when I was 13 years old was I wanted a Swatch watch. Everybody at school had one. My dad refused. They were only at the nice, famous bar in St. Louis. And he said, if you want it, you're going to have to pay for it. They were $65. That's a lot of money in 1983, okay? And I worked all summer, mowing lawns, babysitting kids, doing all this stuff. And I finally had the money. And this was after my dad had made sure I put money in savings, did all this stuff. So I had my money, and I went up to the counter at Famous Bar and laid my $6, $10 bills and my $5. I had all this ready. And you know what? She took it out of the case, and I was so excited. I'll never forget.
Shiny new.
Oh, it was brand new, and it had a little. And I bought, and I had enough money to buy the little thing that went over across the little guard for it. But, and you know what? I was so excited to buy it, and these were my dad's words. You saved all your money to buy this piece of crap? And I was torn down. Like in 1 second, I had worked so many hours to buy that Swatch watch. And to your point about you know, you can feel good about money or you can feel bad about. I was made to feel bad. Mm-hmm. So you discounted all the work that I did all year long, that summer long, to buy this one thing. And I still went ahead and bought it. In fact, I did it again and went back and bought a second one just to really, really tick him off. Which he thought, because I wore 2 of them, that's how old I am. It was cool if you had 2 of them. But I associated that with what wealthy kids were doing. They had that, and I wanted to have that. What I then realized as I moved forward in life was I was working at such a low income level, and I'll never forget going to school one day and found out this one popular girl in school, she was getting paid like $5 an hour to babysit. And I remember my mouth just being like, what? And I realized I wasn't asking for enough. And I went up and I said, how did you do that? And I started asking more money. So I was learning about money very differently today. And so I was fast forwarded to now, and I'm, you know, got 10 grandkids. I was at a Walmart. There was a man, you know how you have the little self-checkout things? Mm-hmm. And this little girl asked her dad, can I check out the you know, site? He's like, yeah, boop. She's booping it across the thing. And I'm standing there watching after I bagged up my stuff, and I was watching her. And she got to the end. She put her hand out for the credit card to swipe. And he goes, no. And I walked up and said, with all due respect, please, I know you don't know me, and I probably look crazy right now. Please let her. Women can touch money. She can make the payment. If she can swipe it across and bag it, she can pay for it. Mm-hmm. And he kind of looked at me, and she's still got her little hand extended. And he put the card in her hand. And I said, thank you. Thank you. And I just walked away because I didn't want what happened to me at Famous Bar to be what her story was around money, to be afraid of it. Because I do think there's a lot of people who are afraid of money today.
I think most people are. Actually, I know most people are afraid of money.
Yeah, you're in the space to know that.
And that includes, you come back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
Coming back in the room.
So I know most people are afraid of money, and that's we run into every day. That's why our industry will never die. There's people who want, and there's people that won't. And it's the fact of, are you afraid of it? If you can get over being afraid of money, then that's when you can grow in life. And that means not just with money. I mean, those people who can overcome that are typically more successful in whatever they do. Typically. Because it's psychology. It's not truly the money. It's really the relationship behind that. So we've got about 5 minutes, and this is all Lindsay's time period now because she's back. So first, you missed the Q&A, so I got to tee that up.
Oh, man.
I've been waiting on this.
You didn't tell me that he was like somebody that's got to get his digs in every now and then. I feel like I should have been warned about this.
Wait.
I did make this love connection, sorry.
Throwing shots all day.
I know. It's good. It makes it more fun. Keeps us
absolutely.
lively.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
How do you explain blockchain to a novice without making them feel incompetent or overwhelmed?
Okay.
She's got this. Come on.
So answer it.
I feel like I should have been pre-warned about this. But I think
No,
I
that
got
was
this.
the whole point.
I got this. All right.
Yeah,
So
pre-warned.
Tyrone, check me on this, right?
Right?
Okay. So blockchain is really not complicated. Okay. So I want you to think about a chain that you would use to pull like a vehicle that's broken down, right? So Stoy has his big truck. He's got a chain that he's going to pull Lisa's vehicle off the side of the road with,
your
right?
Kona.
Thank you so much.
The Kona. Let's
Kona.
use the
Yeah,
Kona.
the Kona. Yeah.
Totally. I came from Dallas, and they gave me
Upgraded you.
upgraded
Upgrade.
SUV, which is like the smallest SUV ever.
It's
I
a
can't even
go-kart.
believe
I'm not
they
going to
call
lie.
it.
On my way
I don't even know why they call it an SUV. But anyways, I digress. We're pulling the Kona off the side of the road with this chain, right? Well, the blockchain, all it is a transaction between me and you, Sheryl. And there's a chain that connects me to you and connects my wallet to your wallet and says, come over here. That's all blockchain is.
Instead of the normal money route, which goes, how many banks does it have to
so
change?
the
what does it
normal
have to do
money
to get
route
there?
goes, there's a chain that goes from me to MasterCard is who my debit card is with, that goes to my bank, that then gets wired to your bank, and then all that comes back and says, yep,
It actually goes to their bank and then comes back through, because I think there's another bank involved in that.
Right.
It's so stupid.
It's so stupid. And
By
so
the way,
I keep it
is there a
simple.
transaction fee basically that you're paying for
all
each?
along the way.
Every single time.
Yeah, exactly.
Anybody who
That's-
touches it.
Is that the same for blockchain?
No, it's not.
Because it's
There's no fees.
It's directly just connected.
Yeah. So when you hear the word like DeFi or it's, disconnected, that's what it is. Decentralized. That's exactly what it is. There's no intermediary. It's me and you. And I know you and you know me and done. How'd I do?
You did well. I knew you would. Just that was keyed up. No one else was going to answer that. So it was yours. Here's the answer. Okay, so 3 minutes. You get to talk about your definition and what you believe money mindset is about.
Okay, cool. I hope I don't need 3 minutes for that. But I do think that for me, money mindset is how do you feel about money? And I'm sure that you guys probably all kind of said the same thing because I think we have the same mindset about money. But I really think that it's how you look at money. Is it positively or negatively? Do you view it as good or bad? Some people say good or evil, right? The way that you look at money, it tells me a lot about your personality. It tells me a lot about how you look at life, right? So you may not even have a positive or negative. It might be a neutral feeling about money. That says a lot about who you are, right? It says a lot about how you manage your money and how you approach life. So that's what I really think that money mindset is. I really liked what John said earlier about value, though. Like, I might have to change what I feel about money mindset a little bit because it really is about what's the value that money plays in your life or, finances, net worth. What is the value of that in your life? And if it's not a big value, then okay, that's cool. It can still be positive or negative, neutral, whatever it may be, right? And I think that your money mindset can change and probably should change throughout your life. So I grew up in a very, I'm going to say poor household, like straight up poor household. I grew up in a poor household. I can't believe I said that out loud. I'm sorry, Mom, that I said that out loud, but it's true. She would agree. She did not have a positive money mindset. So I grew up with a very negative money mindset. And throughout my life, and when I just literally wrote about a post about this on Facebook the other day too, that there have been certain conversations in my life that have been game changing, and they have changed my money mindset slowly over time, right? So the first introduction I really had to changing my money mindset was when I started my first big girl job working at an insurance company. I was around some awesome people, and they were doing really well, and they thought it was important to talk to me about setting myself up for retirement. And that was the first time that I had openly discussed money with peers or anyone outside of my family. And I was jaded by how different their mindset was than the mindset I grew up with, right? It was completely different. They told their money where to go. Like, actually said, this is where your money goes, versus I feel like growing up, I just thought somebody told you where your money went, right? And so that was a huge mindset shift for me. And that's truly what kind of triggered this passion that I have around helping empower women around personal finance. Because I believe when you educate and you teach and you show them how to do better, they will. But there's so many of us that are scared. We heard that in the conversation with Nora. She gave herself permission to go after and make money, right? Like that's a thing for us. I know you know this, right?
Yeah, I do.
So I think that it's important that you understand that money mindset can change as long as you want it to, and that you're open to those conversations to help you change that mindset. That was really long-winded.
But I mean, what the best part is you summarized all of our points.
Yeah.
I'm pretty almost.
I think you're pretty much hit on everything. Yeah.
You hit every one of the things that we said and just summarized
Yeah.
it. So
Shoot,
we did that on purpose.
We're good. And I like that
well
she
done.
said
He took
you
credit
had-
for it. Did you
He
see that?
totally just did.
He did it.
Yeah, stealing thunder. Is it not my job? Isn't what I'm supposed to do? But we're going to go on a break here for a little bit, and we'll have our next guest in as well, hopefully.
The preceding program was sponsored by Black Mammoth. Any awards, rankings, or recognition by unaffiliated third parties or publications are in no way indicative of the advisor's future performance or any individual client's investment success. No award, ranking, or recognition should be construed as a current or past endorsement of Black Mammoth. Information regarding specific awards, rankings, or recognitions is available on the Black Mammoth website, www.blackmammoth.com. All investment strategies have the potential for profit or loss. Investment strategies such as asset allocation, diversification, or rebalancing do not assure or guarantee better performance and cannot eliminate the risk of investment losses. There are no guarantees that a portfolio employing these or any other strategy will outperform a portfolio that does not engage in such strategies. This broadcast should not be construed by any client or prospective client as a solicitation to affect or attempt to affect transactions and securities or the rendering of personalized investment advice due to various factors, including changing market conditions. The information discussed in this broadcast may no longer be reflective of current positions or recommendations. While information presented is believed to be factual and up-to-date, Black Mammoth do not guarantee its accuracy, and it should not be regarded as a complete analysis of the subjects discussed. The tax and estate planning information discussed is general in nature and is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as legal or tax advice. Listeners should consult an attorney or tax professional regarding their specific legal or tax situation. Past performance is not indicative of future results.